Hi there, this is National Chess Master Ras, continuing the videos I'm making for a team match. My video was this group versus the group level by Visca, and this is down on board 42. Our guy C really won both its games. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, so could almost get a Queen's Indian reversed, an Imzo Indian reversed, with White having a tempo in hand. But here he goes in for the Nimzovich-Larsen attack. Uh, and so the game is about even. Maybe White has a slight advantage from the first move. E4 is out of the question because you know White controls that square. Plus he's ready to make a pin. So uh, this is a book position. What's normal here? Well, in one you can play E6 and then this comes in. Uh, E6 is played with the idea of knight F6 and so forth. Let's see what happens. Okay, knight F6. Now, White could double the pawns. There's a back in 1973 there was a popular pamphlet, Larsen's opening. Now it's been renamed. Well, it was Nimzovich's opening first, but Larsen took it on his own, and arguably Larsen was a stronger player than Nimzovich. But the opening has been honored with both their names, the Nimzovich-Larsen attack. D3, knight F6, bishop B2, G6, and on the second move. Then they were giving a line of the bishop with the bishop capturing the knight, and Black had nothing to fear with that. Anyway, let's go forward. White doesn't take, I don't think. No, he goes ahead and pins. Okay, so E6 is a safe, solid move. Now, generally speaking, bishop D7 is not really the move you want to play. You want to try to use this bishop elsewhere later. What do I mean by that? Let's leave it here for now. Okay, E6. Let's just develop some pieces here. Okay, and we're going to go forward now. We might reach a position something like this. Okay. Now again, in an Imzo Indian that's white, that's what this bishop will stay on this square. Uh, Now here one idea we can do is we can play A6 here, but it takes a potential A6 square away from the bishop, but not really, because this pawn can always go up to A5 and the bishop can acquire that diagonal. Uh, or in some cases, if White is misplaying this variation, White might take here. So we don't know what he's going to do. Now we have direct access to that diagonal. For what it's worth, it puts a bishop on a good diagonal, and White doesn't have a counterpart. So anyway, bishop d7. Just leave the bishop back. Develop your other pieces first. Okay. And now we see, what happened. What I said. We don't know what he's going to do. He should have waited and see if Black spends a tempo to play a6. Now maybe the bishop will get on this diagonal. We don't know yet. Let's see what happens. Here's one of the drawbacks for getting into d7. Now it's going to get traded off. Or is it? We can still play here. Okay, let's see. No, well, developing is fine. And, development's about even. White has both its minor pieces out, but Black has both its minor pieces out. White doesn't. White's castle, Black hasn't. Development's even. Black has a weak set of pawns. Double pawns, okay? Let's go forward. Okay, so here's the idea I was talking about, but we don't have a bishop to put on this square. Maybe what Black is trying to do is trade off this isolated pawn. Maybe that's what Black is trying to do. If White plays a4, he does fix this pawn on this square, but it does give Black access to b5. How's he going to get a knight there? Well, it takes a few moves. We have to make sure we don't drop this. That we can get a knight into b4 eventually. And if c3, then the b3 pawn become weak. Whole on d3. There's all kinds of plays. Okay, so here White is intending to head for the e5 square. That's why he didn't bring the knight out to c3. Now Black will probably go through with this plan here. No, he doesn't. Okay. Now this is a strange move. We expected Black to castle here. So what's Black trying to say here? I want to advance my g pawn, but gee, you can't. If you advance your g pawn, your knight falls. Okay, so needs to be seen what he's trying to do here yet. And I think to the spirit of things, bringing the knight to f3 would have been appropriate here. Oh, okay, here's why he guarded the pawn so that he can move the knight here. That's what he's trying to do. Okay, black's trying to appears black's trying to contest this square, but I don't know. White might have some active play here. You know, black's taking his pieces away from the king side. Like for instance, what if queen h5? Okay, this move creates an immediate threat. Now, we can sack the pawn or we can save the pawn. We save the pawn. Maybe white has some attacking chances here. Okay, threatening to take this, you can't recapture. Suppose we say, go ahead, take the pawn. Now, there's no rule that says he has to take this pawn. We'll look at this one next. Okay, now what's happening here? The black has got a couple open files directly at the king, and the white queen is in trouble. It's still in trouble. Can we get at it? Actually, you know what white has? White has a good move here. Maybe. Let's see. Queen takes. Kill the black attack. Okay, now white has all 8 of his pawns, and 2 rooks for the queen. Still some technicalities here. F6 shuts the bishop in. We got to get that. We got to get that bishop out. Let's see. Okay, the objective here is we're trying to get it. Find a safe way here. It stops the knight from moving because this will fall. Let's see. If the queen comes here, maybe I don't know. Can the bishop escape this way? Probably not. Looks like it's going to get trapped. Interesting stuff you can analyze. Let's see. What if we try this move? Now, since we can do this because we're not going to lose this pawn down here. Now we go by. Now that limits the mobility here. Now here we've got it. Or do we? Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to, cut off all the squares this bishop can retreat to. Very complex. And it's white's move. Let's go gain a tempo. Let's attack this bishop. Now this bishop is all shut in. Clearly, if we come back here, white just trades his problem piece out. So let's put it here. And it looks like the white bishop escapes because we've got d2. Fortunately, we had this tempo gain. So, white does okay out of that line. So queen h5 might have been a good move for white. Now, another alternative is to go here, and the point is we're saying if you take and take and take, now I'll castle, and I'm happy to try to attack you on the g file. My feeling is white has resources here, but then again maybe not. Let's see. It's white to play. Probably need to get the queen out now because otherwise, it's in danger of getting chased again and possibly even trapped. So queen h5. Rook over, queen back. Now we want to open up. We want to get that pawn to advance. Maybe black has some attacking chances here. But this, like I say, this is, when you're playing correspondence chess, in these team matches, this is where you start analyzing and you start discovering truths. Now, it takes me a while to figure these out. It'll take you a while to figure out, but that's the fun. You're analyzing chess. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. I'll just reload it. I think it's in the spot. So rook g8, queen f3, now knight d7. Now white decides to open up the center. Not a bad idea with the black king still in the center. Now we've got a weakness here on e6, not protected. Yeah, black's going to win this shortly. And there's the move I wanted to see. And now he takes this, and so very similar to what I saw. So what was I having white do in a similar position? I was having to retreat the queen to get it back. Well, here the queen can't go to h5, but the queen can go to h4 and get back in play. It's probably what white should do. Instead, white weakens his position, and now I think his queen is going to be trapped or close to it. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. What if we attack it? Well, he has to take or come here. Okay, now we attack it again. Now where's it go? Here. Okay, I mean this is getting dangerous for white. Let's take this. Okay, the point is that black wants to play bishop takes g3, follow, and if it's captured, you're going to take and mate, and clearly this is met by this. And I don't think, I'm just playing some moves to see how valuable this attack is by black. It looks like it's going to end in mate. We've given up a piece. We just have to corral that king, and I think we do that very quickly. Okay, check. King f1, queen here is mate. That leaves here, and now seems to end in a mate with this, and there you have it. So interesting attack here. So white didn't need to play g3, that weakened his game, but he doesn't play rook h8. He plays g5. Whoops, plays g5, and that's dangerous. It was something I was talking about. He was trying to do earlier. Similar threats on the f4 square. Similar ideas if the f pawn takes on g5 of a sacrifice on g3. Okay, so it goes this way. Now we can take on this square, and then if he takes again, we can take with the knight swinging into play. He does take. It goes that way. But white's just asking for it here. e4 starts opening white up pretty bad. He doesn't do it, but this looks like a strong move. The idea is we want to play here, and if takes, we take back with the queen, and the king goes in the corner, and we go pin the queen, and might have a mate here. Anyway, wait a minute. Oh, this bishop's controlling that square. Okay, so this move is fine. And white has a couple connected pass pawns, but his king doesn't look safe at all there. And white's grabbing a pawn he shouldn't bother to take. He should have, if anything, think of bringing the queen back here, get a little defense around the king. And there's the move I was talking about. Now g3 is just looking all kinds of trouble, and oh, there it is. And desperately searching counterplay, but white's king is naked, and here white tries to liquidate, but all this does is get him checkmated. It looks like it's a forced mate here. The bishop discovery is going to be deadly. Even bringing the knight back won't do it, because the knight just gets captured. So good game for black. I wonder how much time white spent on that. Anyway, let's bring up the other game. Let's see. Played 2 games. Won both. Okay. Reset. Okay, so go to the beginning, flip it, and let's see what happens. So, French defense. Interesting line. Best move. Few traps here. If takes, the idea is to put the knight here, and after this check is coming, and black can't castle. So, looks like black either knows the opening or is bothering to look it up. You know, knight d5. Now the difference is now black can castle, and you know the knight can go to d6, but it's maybe not as potent as when the king is stuck on f8 or something. Black does have a bad bishop here. White did not get the double pawn, so this is not a bad line for white. Knight goes to d6. And I'm not too sure about that move, but again, it could be theory. It seems like you know, black is just weakening his king side, but white has some attacking chances there. So I don't know. It looks to be close to even. And pawn up on f5. We got a pin. Probably play c3 here. Yep. Okay. Now the pawn on e5 is hanging, but might not be. But then the pawn on f5 could be hanging after knight takes c8, going to a heavy piece ending or middle game. This is actually a middle game. Still, even if the knights came off. Two rooks. I usually consider 2 pieces each and fewer as an endgame. 3 pieces and more is a middle game. Sometimes I say 2 pieces is still a middle game, because what if it's a queen and a rook? I mean, is there really anything? Anyway, let's go forward. He doesn't want to tell you the pawn is pinned. He couldn't take it right away. Okay. So here we're going into ending. White's going into ending down a pawn. And but he has an active knight, which is attacking a rook. b2 is hanging. d5 is an isolated pawn. I wouldn't think black is losing at this point, yet he's going to lose. So what did he do wrong? Okay. Now if he takes on b2, white can play here and get his rook active in a hurry. So taking on b2 is probably not black's best move, and he does. He sees the pawn. And now he chooses to go this way. Now he's got not only a threat on the rook, but a threat down here. And maybe white has a tactic. If the rook retreats, we can play rook takes f5. But I don't know, that's probably still close to even. And that's what he does. Yeah, my instinct says this is still close to even, because white's getting his pawn back, but even number of pawns, and this pawn is actually a weakness. Okay, now that guards against the threat. Knight b6. If anything, black might even be slightly better simply because of the pawn structure. That's my first impression. Okay, now we got a weakness on a6, but these pawns are weak too. Will the rooks come off the board? That's an interesting thing. How do you evaluate a knight ending? Do you guys know? It doesn't work 100% of the time, but okay, let's do this. Let's pretend these rooks are gone. Okay, now there's your knight ending, right? Now we're going to pretend these are gone. Okay. Now who wins the king and pawn ending? If you can determine with certainty who wins the king and pawn ending, that's probably who wins the king and pawn ending. And it has to do with the fact that knight can't use a tempo. Okay. The king's going to lose tempos by triangulating. I was in a game once where it was a draw, but if you took the knights off, it looked like I would lose. Anyway, so not every case, almost. Okay. Now black's king is even more active, but he can't afford to go forward. He's going to walk into a fork. And white better be careful, or this knight could run into some trouble. Let's see. He has a way out, or does he? How does this knight get out? Okay, he's attacking the rook, but this square is covered, and this square is covered. This knight might be out too far. How do you get that? How do you rescue that knight? But the other question is, how does black win that knight? Let's look at this for a second. Well, rook here. Okay, that would force white to take, and after he takes here, You need to save this guy. We can gain a tempo on the pawn. Now let's see. We want to take squares away from this king. See, this king has, he wants to enter. So we need to control c4. Okay, now we've got, white's got these squares covered, that king can't penetrate. But the burden's on white to find that move. So sometimes, when you're playing, you've got your opponent with one weakness. You're trying to create a second one in order to have a winning advantage, but there's not much you can do unless your opponent cooperates. So sometimes you have to try this. So the fact that black lost this in a few moves indicates that he just made a gross blunder. But he could have considered rook e5. See, base the question. Even though this knight doesn't have a retreat, you have to attack it a second time to win it. And how are you going to do that? Well, with your rook. Let's back this up. What if he had come back? Well, if he comes back here, now the knight has a way out. Okay, so the idea here is, the other idea to win it is maybe put the knight here to block the knight's retreat. But before you do that, you have to play g6. Okay, so maybe there is a winning strategy to try to win that knight. Now g4. Now he plays knight d6. That doesn't seem to solve the issue. What if black plays here? Okay, now is that knight? The threat is to put the knight here, and that would force this knight to go even deeper out of the way. Okay. No, let's pick a move for white. Let's try to get the king closer. Okay, now we will play this move. Now the knight runs down here. Now he has two squares to get out. But a6 doesn't really get him out, because where's he going after that? The only choice you have is to guard it. Now we can play king e6 here, and the idea is we want to play here. Okay, what's white do? Let's bring the king up again. Okay, now we hit that. Okay, now the knight's trying to get out this way. Maybe get the knight up. Excuse me. I think I sneeze about one every 50 videos. Okay. Maybe gets it out. But, I mean, it's certainly something to play for. And again, this is the beauty of correspondence chess. You can sit here and analyze these things out. I'll leave it to C. Willie to, try to look at this. And, even though he might have been on the wrong side of this, he might be on the right side of it one day. Okay, so let's see what happened. So rook c5, my rook e5 idea didn't work. For g4, he did not play g6. He played, what did he play? He didn't play g6, he played knight d6. He might be stepping into a pin, maybe not. That's white move. Brings the rook up. Okay, attack a pawn. But that frees the knight to suddenly go to some new squares. Okay, but he guards the pawn. Now he wants a rook trade. Could have offered that earlier. And this is interesting. Okay, king c6. So, it would seem to me that this is the move to play. Now, we've got the knight on the right square, as I said, we're covering c4, but there is a new entry square. Maybe I didn't notice it before. There is a new entry square here, and that's a4. By going to a4, that king approaches a3, and there's a chance to win that a pawn, and black would win. Okay, so he didn't do that, but it seemed to me that the chances would be with black in that position. So he played king c6 and gets a check. And now why does black lose this? Did he lose on time? Let me check. Doesn't say at the end of the game. Result 1-0. Yeah, I see 1 on time. Okay, so it's just one of those things that happen. You not able to go on vacation or forget to go on vacation and don't log in for 3 days of timeout. But white wins. It was an instructive ending. Black had the better of it, but hadn't proved the win yet. Okay, thanks so much for your time. Take care.